Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Women of Golf Show. I'm Ted Roderico, and right alongside, of course, each and every Tuesday morning is none other than Legends Tour player and LPGA professional, Cindy Miller, and of course, we are the hosts of the Women of Golf Show. Good morning, Cindy, and welcome.
Good morning, Ted. How are you today?
I'm doing
Hello?
fantastic. How are you doing?
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
I can hear you.
I didn't know if you heard me. So
yeah,
it's
no,
still snowing in Buffalo.
Oh, well, as they say here in the South, bless your heart. Well, we got a great show for you this morning on the Women of Golf Show, and let me just tell everybody real quick, and then we'll let you know who's going to be on the show this morning. Of course, we are live every Tuesday mornings from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the blogtalkradio.com network, and just go to blogtalkradio.com/Women of Golf during the live broadcast, and you can catch us there, or you can scroll down and check out the on-demand section and get not only today's show, but all of the previously aired shows as well in their entirety there in the recorded version on the on-demand section. So if you can't join us live, not to worry, you can get us whenever it's convenient for you. You can also find us if you go to iTunes.com, Stitcher.com, and now TuneIn.com, and under the podcast section, again, just type in Women of Golf, and that will take you there as well. Always would love to hear from you on the live broadcast. You're welcome to call in. The number to call is area code 347-945-5855. And you can certainly email Cindy and I. Our respective emails are as follows. Cindy's is cindy@cindymillergolf.com, and mine is ted.golftalklive@gmail.com. So we'd love to hear from you. Got a great show, Cindy, this morning. We're going to be featuring, first off on the show, we're going to be speaking with Stephanie Meadow, and she played in this last weekend's Symetra Tour event that we talked about the previous week, the IOA Championship presented at the Morongo Casino Resort and Spa in Tukwet Canyon, and this is her first win on the Symetra Tour, but she's certainly no stranger to golf, and let me just tell you a little bit about her, and then we'll wait for her to come on board. Stephanie Meadow is first-time winner, as I mentioned, on the Symetra Tour after winning this past weekend's IOA Championship. She entered in the final round 7 shots back, but stayed the course and won the first hole of a sudden death playoff against Carly Silvers. She's from Jordanstown, Northern Ireland, and is the first woman from Northern Ireland to not only win on the Symetra Tour, but play on the LPGA Tour as well. She qualified for the big stage through the 2014 LPGA qualifying tournament, earning conditional status for 2015. She played on that throughout not only 2015, but 2016 and 17 as well. And she's had an illustrious collegiate career at the University of Alabama up in Tuscaloosa, where she was a 4-time All-American. And after her time in Tuscaloosa, she played in the 2014 U.S. Open, where she finished solo third. So quite an accomplished player, to say the least. And then later on in the show, of course, we're going to be joined by Cara Moore, who is an LPGA teaching and club professional at the Everybody Golf School in Oakton, Virginia. We'll be joined by her in the second half. But quite an interesting accolade for Stephanie, isn't it?
Awesome. Yeah, totally awesome. So clearly
so
she's
we're looking
a player.
Yeah, exactly. So all kidding aside, while we wait for her to, we were talking just before we went live, and as I was just about to say to you, and then we went live, was that you're spinning plates again. You've been pretty busy, so what have you been up to?
Just teaching a lot, and writing some articles and blogs. Phase Golf has launched, and they need blog articles. I write columns for the Buffalo News, so I've had to write some of those, and giving 17 lessons a day. So everybody in Buffalo is waiting for spring, and there's snow on the ground. So thank God we have a dome teaching. Otherwise, we would be in trouble.
Yeah. I know we're getting a little bit of the cool air blowing down here, so it's been a little bit certainly not nowhere near as bad as what you have it up there. But like you said, you've got the dome to teach in and so forth, so it makes certainly a big difference in that. Can we get a little sneak peek at some of the articles that you're writing, or do you want to wait till they hit the print?
Well, the one for Phase Golf is about having fun and the value of playing golf. What you can get out of it. And the one for the Buffalo News is all about finding it. And your why, your what, and your how. And we talked a little bit about the Masters and having 3 different controls: physical control, mental control, and emotional control. So I mentioned 3 of the players from Sunday's round of Augusta, and said that Rory lost his physical control, and Patrick Reed displayed mental control like I've never seen, and John Rahm needs a little more emotional control.
Yeah, wasn't that terrible? Was that what was it on 13 or 15 that he hit that into the water? Yeah, it just was a bad shot. I think it was 13 if I'm not mistaken. I didn't get to see a lot of it on the weekend. I did watch a little bit on Sunday. And, of course, Jordan Spieth ran into a little bit of trouble towards the end there. I mean, they were tied, actually. Reed and Spieth were tied at 14 under at one point. And then, obviously, Reed had a few more holes to play. And I think it was on hole 17 that he sort of when Spieth was on 17, that Reed shot a birdie on his hole, and I don't remember what hole he was on, but ended up going to 15 under. So certainly played some interesting golf. I got to say this, and I'm a little bit disappointed at normally when the Masters is over, there's a lot of positive hype, but unfortunately, and I don't want to get into it because I don't believe in that, but there was a little bit of negative hype surrounding Reed since the weekend, and it kind of bothers me a little bit that they're getting into the personal lives of the players a little bit too much, I think. What do you think about that?
Well, I think viewers and fans want to know who the person is. They want to get to know him. And I feel sorry for him, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think it's sad. Our son knows him very well and helped him get recruited to Augusta State when he got kicked off of Georgia's team. And I've heard some of the stuff, and I haven't heard all of it, and I don't really want to hear all of it. I feel like I don't want to spread bad gossip about people. I just think it's the wrong thing to do. So I kind of feel sorry for him, and I'm going to pray for him.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think sometimes it goes a little bit too far. I mean, certainly we want to get to know the players and that, but I think there's some lines sometimes that get blurred or get crossed. And I was just really surprised because I didn't see a lot of the articles and that came out right after, but somebody was telling me yesterday, asked if I had read this or read that, and I was kind of shocked because I really didn't follow a lot of that, and I normally don't. And it just was a little bit surprising, but anyways, I'm happy for him. I'm glad he's got that win. That's certainly going to help him move forward. And I'm sure the 1.98 I think it was $1 million that he won for first prize, I'm sure is not going to be anything that's going to create any concern for him, for that. So hopefully he'll spend that well and invest it well. But congratulations anyways to Patrick Reed for winning this 2018 Masters. What a great event. It's interesting. Let me just very quickly, again, while we wait for Stephanie to come on board, last weekend or last Thursday, on Golf Talk Live, I had Peter Kessler was my special guest in the second half of the show, and he talked about Augusta National. We talked a little bit about the upcoming tournament. Of course, it was just started on Thursday, and just some interesting facts about it. For instance, I think he said, I forget how many different apple trees and how many different variations of pears that were grown at Augusta National. I didn't realize that. I mean, obviously I knew it wasn't Augusta National forever, but I didn't realize some of the history. And also the other thing that I didn't know is at sort of the birth of the azaleas here in the South was spawned from Augusta National, which I didn't know that.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know
either.
that. Yeah, I was. No, and I mean, listen, I wouldn't even fact check. I wouldn't even consider fact checking Peter because, as most people know, if they know him at all, of course, he was the original golf announcer when Golf Channel first started up back in the early 90s. And he's considered to be, in fact, he's world renowned, one of the leading golf historians. So he knows all this stuff and, can go back, 100 something years and tell you, what so-and-so shot. And it was quite an interesting conversation. So if you get a chance, you should go and listen to it. He's got some great stories. We talked a little bit about Tiger, of course, and some of the experiences that he's had with Tiger over the years, and really obviously has a lot of respect for him. But it was really some of the course information that he brought out about Augusta National that really kind of surprised me the most, because I didn't know any of that, first off, but especially about these azaleas was just, I found very interesting, because I didn't know that. I mean, they're all over the place here in the South, and I didn't know that was sort of the birthplace of the azaleas here. So it was kind of interesting.
Very cool.
But, yeah, very cool indeed. So as I said, we're going to wait here for just a little bit. Hopefully she'll join us shortly. I hope there wasn't a mix-up in the time. I know that I was in touch with Zach Sapanik, who, of course, is the media official from the Smenta Tour yesterday afternoon, and he was going to reach out and just confirm the time and everything with her. So hopefully everything's all right. And if not, well, we'll have to maybe have her back another time, and we'll just have to wing it for the first 20 minutes or so left in this segment. But anyways, so you've been doing lots of lessons. You had, of course, you had another boot camp? Was that correct? I think here just before.
We've got
we've
got one next week. Yeah,
next week. That's
next
right.
Week.
Okay.
That's why
And you're going.
I'll be flying to Orlando next week.
So you're going back to Orange County National?
We are. It's just too good of a place, and they're too nice to us, and the golf course is awesome, and the practice facilities, and the tooth, and the food, and everything is just perfect. So that's where we're going. I'm going to do another boot camp in Seattle the day after. It's a one-day school. The day after the Legends Tour event in June.
Oh, wow.
Which I'm looking forward
Very
to
cool.
doing. Yeah.
Very, very cool. Now, let me ask you, we've got some time here. What do you, when you sign people up for this boot camp, what do you say to them what they need to prepare? Do you do anything special? Do you say to them, I want you to be thinking about this. I want you to be really focusing about this when you come down to the boot camp, because here are some of the things. Do you give them an idea of what the agenda is going to be? I mean, obviously some maybe have been to a previous one, so they have kind of an idea. But say for a newbie, if you will, a new person that's just signed up for the boot camp, what do you sort of discuss with them ahead of time as to what they should be prepared for and what they should be looking forward to?
Well, on the website, there's an itinerary of everything that we're going to be doing. And once they commit to come, I have them fill out a survey to tell me, where they're at, how long have they played, have they ever been to a school before, how often do they take lessons, what they really want to improve, why they're signing up for the camp, what their goals are, what they want to achieve. So that's basically, we find that out. And then once they're registered, they have to take golf psych assessment, a mental golf profile. Right. They take the disc golf assessment to find out their behavior style. and they take a learning style assessment so that we know whether they're
Wow.
audiovisual or kinesthetic. So it's really all about them and,
Right.
who they are, what they want to learn, why they're coming, blah, 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 So it's not about me, it's about them. So we tailor the school to make sure each student reaches their goals.
Right. So you obviously do a lot of preparation ahead of time, not just preparing for the school itself, but getting to know a little bit about the students as well. So you have an idea of how to sort of tailor, because as you mentioned, you have obviously different learning styles and things like that you might want to deal with, and obviously there's nothing worse than if somebody's more of an audio as opposed to a visual or vice versa. You want to make sure that you're approaching that particular student the correct way, because it can make it a little more challenging for them if you're not understanding their learning style. So you obviously, through the different assessments, you gather as much information as humanly possible about each of the students before they come, so that you and Alan can sort of work with them in a more effective way. Correct?
Yes. And it's really important because you're the one that's swinging the club, so you've got to know exactly what you're doing.
Right. And I know, and I know from past experience, from you talking about it, and from some of the students that we've had on the show and that, and we're going to have some more as time goes on. But it's a tough boot camp. It's not easy. Do you ever get any students that come there and say, "Wow, this is tougher than I thought it was going to be," or they pretty much know what to expect?
No, they get it. I speak to them. I don't want somebody to come and really get to where they can't do the physical work. That would not be good. So they understand.
Right.
And they're exhausted. I tell them bring Band-Aids and Advil and tape and a hat and sunscreen. But, you're outside for 10 hours a day. And
yeah.
So that's why it's called boot camp.
Right, exactly. Well, that's what I mean. So they obviously have a good understanding of what's going on and what to expect, and what you want it to be. You want it to be a good experience for them, and you want them to be learning, and especially for some of the ones that want to play maybe collegiate golf a little bit later on, or have aspirations of playing maybe in a more professional setting. They're going to have to learn how to grind it out. So a 10-hour day is something they're going to have to get used to, correct?
Absolutely. So,
in fact, it might be longer.
They can take breaks too.
Yeah. Sure.
They can take
breaks.
Breaks
of course.
as well.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Well, that's fantastic. Well, I'm not too sure what's happened here this morning, but it looks like we might be have to continue winging it for a few more minutes till Cara comes on. I'm not sure what happened. I'll reach out to the Symetra Tour after. Perhaps it was a mix-up in the time difference. I know that they were out on California time, which is 2 hours behind us, so they may have gotten she may have gotten a little bit confused with the time. But nonetheless, we want to congratulate Stephanie Meadow for winning this past weekend's IOA Championship on the Symetra Tour, and having first win under her belt. I'm sure is going to be very what's the word I'm looking for, Cindy? I guess beneficial, at least to say, to be able to help propel her a little further down the line. What do you think does it mean as a professional, Cindy, getting that win? I mean, you've obviously won some tournaments and different events that you've played in that. Getting that sort of first win over is a big hurdle, obviously. But let me actually, I think we might have her here, so let me just bring her on board. Hi, good morning, and welcome to the Women of Golf Show. Is it Stephanie?
This is Cara.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, Cara, that's even better. I'm sorry. Well, glad you could join us a little bit early. Hang tight for just a second, Cara, and Cindy, go ahead and answer that if you don't mind.
I don't know what you asked me.
Oh.
Say that again.
Getting that sort of first win, for a player, for a tour player, regardless of what level they're at, is obviously an important thing. It helps for confidence in that. But you've been in that boat yourself a number of times over the years. What goes through your mind when you get that first win? What does it do to you psychologically, if you will, getting that first win under your belt?
What it does is gives you belief and verification that what you're doing is really what you're supposed to be doing, rather than see, the game of golf is one that it takes so long typically to improve, and it takes so many hours of investment in time and money to get better. And then it takes trusting yourself. As you watch Patrick Reed, I mean, there were 4 people knocking at the door trying to, dethrone him over the weekend, and he had to stay
right.
so mentally tough to commit to that goal. And, so doubts will creep in, and you're just not sure of yourself. So you're going to be tested. And when you get that first win, it's like, oh, okay, good. Now let's do this again. So you understand
right.
that all the work you've put in has really been worth the effort. And so that's what it's all about, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and
I want to say,
yeah, and I think
I just wanted to.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say something else. I'm going to change the subject because I want to test our listeners and see if anybody's really out there. I'm thinking about putting a trip together for the Solheim Cup in Scotland in 2019, and I need at least 10 people to go. So I'm throwing it out there. I want to know if, number 1, you want to go, number 2, if you want to go with me, and number 3, if you want to be able to play golf 3 times, stay in a castle, and go to the event. And if you do, I want you to email me, Cindy@CindyMillerGolf.com, and let me know that, because I'm going to put this trip together with a company that's got private coaching, coach travel, so we don't have to worry about renting a car. We don't have to worry about anything. They're just going to take us everywhere we want to go. So Solheim Cup 2019 in Scotland. If you want to go, email Cindy@CindyMillerGolf.com.
Send me the dates and all the particulars involved. Cindy, email that to me when you get a chance, and I'll promote that as well through my social media and direct them to you for anybody that might be interesting as well as any of the listeners out there. All right, since we apologize. For some reason, Stephanie wasn't able to join us this morning, but we'll work that out later on. But we have our second special guest, Kara Moore. She's an LPGA teaching and club professional at the Everybody Golf School in Oakton, Virginia. And let me just tell you a little bit about Kara. She started playing golf at the age of 7 and grew up in Centerville, Virginia, and took lessons from longtime Virginia coach Varden Dyer. She was a 4-year varsity golfer at Westfield High School in Chantilly, Virginia. And after graduating from Marymount University, Kara volunteered with the First Tee in D.C. And recently started the First Tee program at Oakmar Golf Complex in Oakton, Virginia. She's enthusiastic about golf and has a passion for sharing golf with kids and teens and, of course, adults, and credits the U.S. Kids Level Learning Program for a structured, goal-oriented, fun way to help juniors love the game as much as she does. As I mentioned, she's an LPGA teaching and club professional division and currently is beginning her 2nd season as an instructor at the Everybody Golf School in Oakton, Virginia, as I mentioned. And she was on our show, I believe, last year, and we're glad to welcome her back. Kara, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I really appreciate you guys having me on again. I love just sitting down and talking about golf. I could do it all day.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us. Cindy, go ahead and you can start things off.
So tell us what you're up to.
So we are actually just starting the 2nd season, or I'm starting my 2nd season at the Everybody Golf School in Oakton, Virginia. And believe it or not, here in Northern Virginia, we're still in winter. Right now it's about 40 degrees, and it's actually been really crazy only because I don't know if you know anything about the weather here, but last week we did have a beautiful day that was 80 degrees, sunny, and then this past weekend I was teaching in layers and gloves, and so it's definitely been an interesting ride. We started our season at the beginning of March, so
wow.
It's definitely been one of those, I guess it's something that it happens all the time, but everybody is shocked every time we get this kind of weather and everyone complains. But then I think about the people in New York and Pennsylvania, and I kind of say, oh, well, at least we don't have snow on the ground. But yeah,
like we do.
We're just going
or
into
Buffalo.
the season. Yeah, exactly. We're just going into the season. The conditions on the course are actually really great out here. I've been to a few courses since the season started, and they've been able to keep the grass nice and green. So it's definitely one of those things that I think we're all getting used to as instructors, but the golf courses are getting used to, because this isn't something that has been going on for years and years. We used to have major snowstorms in the month of March, so I'm glad that the season's starting earlier, because winter is very long without golf. So
Yep.
I'm very excited to start the season. I think we're heading out of that cold period and heading towards spring, but somebody mentioned to me at the golf course the other day that we're kind of in a sprinter, so a spring and a winter at the same time, because it snowed here. It snowed here yesterday, so you kind of get the best of, I guess, both worlds. I love the cold weather, but at this point, I'm ready for spring, and I'm ready for a little bit of weather that Florida sees.
I agree. So tell us what you've got cooked up for this season.
So we've already started the first session of the first tee. Usually they have a spring one, which is kind of a jump start to the actual spring session. We're actually halfway through that, so I'm working with the kids out there in the cold. They're enjoying the golf, and we're making it fun. I've already finished multiple rounds of classes. Like I said, we started in early March, so the season has really kicked off, and I'm just excited about the first tee program that's growing, because registration opened up for the class that I'm teaching now at, I guess it was mid-January, and the next day the class was full. And so I think the last time we spoke, it was all about, trying to get the youth into golf, and they've definitely come out and shown that there is an interest. So that's something that we're still working on, is getting more youth out, and especially girls. We have a large class of girls with the first tee program, so I'm very happy about that. This season we'll be doing some LPGA girls golf events at Oakmore, and so I'm definitely excited about putting those on. But I know you guys were talking about the Masters. I am very into the drive, chip, and putt contest. And so that's something that I have a few students who are interested in. So I'm very excited to see where that could go. I know there was somebody from Cindy's area who was out there this past week, and she did pretty well for herself. So the season is definitely...
She happens to...
Go ahead.
Lily happens to be my student, yes. So, and she won the long drive contest, and then she didn't do very well in the chipping and the putting, but she got to the finals, and she was very, very excited. So it's really awesome.
Oh, wow.
I know. So, I mean, just being able to give them that opportunity, the kids got excited about it when I mentioned it. But this season, we're just adding more classes. We're adding more golf. And I'm excited to continue what I've been doing, but the interest has definitely increased, which was a big goal of mine. And I think that's only because of word of mouth. I haven't really done any advertising. So I think, people are starting to come out, and the fact that, we offer clubs if you don't have clubs, and the fact that you could essentially come to the golf course with nothing and a positive attitude, and at the end, you could be pretty well on your way to being a good leisurely golfer. I have a few kids who I could put in tournaments right now. So, and they started with no golf clubs. So that's something I'm very excited about.
Awesome.
Kara, let me just ask you sort of a follow-up to that. You talked about how even just through word of mouth that you're getting some positive results and, haven't even really begun to advertise. But how important is it, do you think, especially now with so many discussions in the golf industry about courses closing and things like that, how important is it right now, do you think, for the industry to really, as a whole, talking about courses, professionals, really reaching out within their communities and trying to drive that interest a little bit more? I mean, we can do all the advertising on TV and that sort of thing, but how important do you think it is on a local scale as professionals that we really reach out to our communities and let them know that golf is for everybody?
I think it's extremely important, and the one thing that I've learned over the last year is from my own school, the Everybody Golf School, we have this mission to kind of let everybody know that when you get to the golf course, even if you're not taking lessons, you can walk out of there and be more engaged in golf than you were. But I am definitely just, I've even talking to the people who live in my neighborhood. We have social media is a very good outlet to address, golf, and I can think of a few courses just off the top of my head here in my area that are closing only because of, they're trying to build houses. And I think that just word of mouth can go a long way. I know social media and the ability to get on TV is something that is very easy these days. But when you're in a community like the golf community, I think people who know other people will kind of just talk about it, and then it gets to the ears of parents of kids. It gets to the ears of parents who used to golf, but they want to get back into golf. So I think that it's really important to just show your passion for it. I personally go out there every day. I wake up in the morning, and even if I'm not going to the golf course or golfing, people will ask me why I'm not in school, because I guess I look a little younger than most people, and I tell them, I'm a golf instructor, and that's what I do for a living, so it's not really that typical 9 to 5. And then we get on the topic of, where do you teach? Maybe I'll come out sometime. So it's even the people, at the bank. I had a conversation with someone at the bank the other day who asked me why I wasn't in school, and I had told them that I graduated from college 3 years ago, and I told them that I was a golf instructor, and they were really surprised, and people are still very surprised to hear from a female that I'm a golf instructor, especially at my age. I just turned 25 last month. So it's definitely word of mouth and talking it up, and that's something I'm very, very, very good at, I guess.
Good for you.
And Go ahead, Cindy.
Well, that's the way you have to be, So good for you, because if you don't promote yourself, nobody else is going to promote you. And you have to be, have conviction of the heart that you really know what you're doing and you can help people. That's why we all do what we do. So what's your favorite type of student?
Oh, gosh. I really like the ones who walk in and they get onto the range and I say, grab your wedge, and they grab their putter. And it doesn't have to be a junior student. It doesn't have to be an adult. It's the ones who you see them the first lesson, and then by the third lesson, they know every club in the bag. They've absorbed everything I've told them about golf. And I'm one of those golf club equipment nerds, so a lot of my students hear about the different types of golf clubs. And so my favorite student's probably the one who walks in, knowing that golf is spelled GOLF, and their GPS got them to the golf course, and then walking out, 3 weeks later, able to play on the course. I think those transformations are just so cool to see, but it's a two-way street. The instructor might be a good instructor, but the golfer also has to listen and kind of emulate what I'm teaching them. So I think that's probably my favorite, is the one who knows absolutely nothing and then is able to go out on the course and play a leisurely, Sunday afternoon round and enjoy themselves. So, but I do like the ones who are very eager to learn, because I will talk about the compression of golf balls all day. And I have a few younger kids who are really interested in the physics of golf. So it's just one of those things where there's different groups of people that come onto the golf course where, they don't know a thing about golf. They walk out, they're able to play on the course. And then the other groups where they're so technically into it that I kind of get on a rant. So I would definitely say both of those categories really get me excited. I really enjoy those people who, just want to try it out and end up succeeding. It's really fulfilling to me to see that they can actually do it.
Yeah, well said. And, I think too, Cara, that the first impressions that we give as instructors to a student like that are critical, because if we can instill to them the fun and passion that we have about the game, I think that can be very contagious. Let me ask you sort of a follow-up to what you were just talking about. And, you've been teaching now for a year at the Everybody Golf School, so you're starting into your second year there. What have you learned from students in the past year that you think is going to help you this year? What have you sort of taken away from last year's experience that is going to help guide you this year?
Well, actually, collectively, I think I've learned more than all the students I've taught combined, only because I've learned a lot about my teaching style. I'm a very relaxed instructor. I am a very adaptive instructor, meaning I always look to the great fundamentals of golf that Ben Hogan and Arnold Palmer gave us. But what I've learned is that every single person has their own swing, and a lot of people may not be able to do exactly what another person does with their swing.
Mm-hmm.
So I've learned to adapt to, kind of what I see. And the LPGA education program has helped me a lot with figuring out a person's type of swing. And so I think the best part is I've learned to kind of adapt to each player who comes through the range and comes in contact with me. I've definitely learned to be a little more patient with those who really don't know what's going on, and that's okay. But I just try to, help somebody. If they come to me with a swing already, I'm not trying to change their swing. I'm trying to help them adapt better to that swing so that they can hit the ball straighter or they can get a better trajectory. So it's not so much telling them exactly what they need to do. It's definitely working around the abilities that they already have. And I work with a lot of students, young and, adult, who have disabilities. And I personally have back issues. So I think being able to adapt in situations like that is something I've definitely grown with over the last year. And I'm learning so much each lesson I teach. So that's something I'm really grateful for. I honestly don't think I'm ever going to stop learning. I don't ever want to stop learning. So while the students think they're getting a lesson, it's really me who's learning from them, because they're bringing me a swing style that may not be like anybody else's. I think it's really cool.
Fantastic. I like that. Cindy, go ahead.
Let me ask you about demo day. Do you guys have a demo day? And if so, when is it, and who comes, and what happens? And
Absolutely. We actually were supposed to have our Callaway demo day this past Saturday, but it snowed. And so that's actually rescheduled for April 17th, which I believe is a Wednesday. And the whole Callaway team comes. They bring TrackMan. And this year we're actually doing a test between the new Chrome Soft golf ball and the Titleist Pro V1. And, of course, the new Callaway Rogue golf clubs will be out there. But the whole team comes from the area, the representatives from Callaway, and they bring every club you could possibly imagine. The Great Big Bertha Epics will be there. We have a bunch of people who come out. It's something that if you're just going out to the range to hit golf balls, it's something you're able to see. There's plenty of, banners and tents. And so the demo days are really fun. And it's even better when you have all that latest and greatest equipment that you may not be able to buy yet, because it's so expensive, but at least you get to try it. And there are lessons. We do 10-minute lessons for people who just want a quick fix of their swings. We do raffles. It's really, I think it's one of those, I would compare it to a golf carnival. I think it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
I think that's fantastic. And you mentioned earlier you're kind of an equipment nerd, if you will. So you obviously enjoy seeing a lot of the latest and greatest what's out there, and obviously it gives you an opportunity to maybe try a little bit throughout the day as well to see what's new and exciting. Gives you an idea to talk up some of the equipment on your side. Now in a 10-minute lesson, obviously it doesn't give you a lot of time, but what traditionally is some of the more common ones that you sort of try to help fix while you're on the demo day field, if you will?
Well, actually, there's a few things. There's a few things I look for in a person's swing, and for the 10-minute lessons, I kind of go through my own checklist. A lot of the golf swing I have figured out has to do with keeping your eye on the ball and making sure you're fully rotating in the swing. So those are definitely the first things I look for. I think the most common thing that people come to me with is I am fading the ball to the right so much. And oftentimes it's just a matter of telling them to keep their eye on the ball. Another one that we quickly address is a lot of people have very fast backswings. And I kind of show them the tempo of the golf swing, kind of a slower backswing, and then all the power comes in the downswing. So with those 10-minute lessons, it's actually pretty incredible what we can achieve as far as just getting down to the fundamentals. And that's something that I credit, like I said, the great Ben Hogan and Arnold Palmer for teaching us. So those 10-minute lessons, I definitely make sure, I guess if you speak to my students, they'll probably tell you that I'm always telling them to keep their head down. So that's one of my major things. And then another thing is I'm just watching for, their tempo, the swing speed. And a lot of times people are just too fast. They need to slow it down a little bit and relax. But obviously it's golf, so you can't really I like to tell people to just chill out. I'm telling my students all the time, just chill out. Golf's not really that sport where you need to hurry. So it's easy for me to say just chill out and relax, but their brain is going 10 million miles a minute. But yeah, with those 10-minute lessons, it's very easy to figure out if they're keeping their eye on the ball. It's very easy to figure out if they're hacking at it. And so a lot of people walk away from those 10-minute lessons feeling like their game has changed dramatically, and it's great to see that. I mean, I was at Dick's Sporting Goods once, and I had a guy come into the simulation room, and he told me to fix his swing, not knowing that I was an instructor. So he said he had bought a brand new M2 fairway wood, and it just wasn't working. And I was thinking, well, gosh, this is a great piece of technology. I don't know how this thing couldn't work. I mean, they spent years developing it. So I told him to keep his eye on the ball and make sure he's slowing down his backswing. And in 4 shots, he was dead straight. So I like to keep it simple, stupid. So that's one of my things, is just keep it simple. Golf's already complicated enough. You don't need to complicate it anymore.
That's for sure.
Well said. Yeah, you're exactly right. Go ahead, Cindy.
So tell us more about the Everybody Golf School. Who else is there if everybody's there?
Yeah, everybody is there. Actually, on the colder days, we've got the range is full because we do have the heaters. I am working with an amazing team. I am under PGA Pro George Danielson, as well as the one and only great Noelle Jablonski. I enjoy watching her teach the most because she's just so interactive with her students. She likes to keep it simple, and so I think being on such a team with experience, and it's just so inspiring to me. It's something that I want to carry the legacy of the Everybody Golf School because I honestly, while the weather is awful, I do not want to leave. People are always asking me, why don't you move to Florida where you can golf year round? But there's an attachment that I have to the Everybody Golf School, and it's definitely because, Noelle and George have been so welcoming to me, and they've allowed me to kind of put my feet in the water and do some things on my own and figure it out myself. And so we have kind of a small instructing staff this year, only because we lost a couple of people, but we do have Linda Gowdy, who comes and teaches occasionally. Her primary course is international, Fairfax International Golf Course. So she'll be out there, and it's just, I'm honestly in awe of all the years' experience we have at that one public golf course out there in Oakton, Virginia. So when you say everybody's out there, yeah, everybody's out there, from experienced golfers and experienced instructors to 3-year-olds with their little U.S. Kids sets, and it's one of those things that it's a family course. There's plenty of mothers, daughters, fathers, sons, grandmas. I mean, they'll come out and just watch the lessons. So I think when you say Everybody Golf School, it literally is for everybody, the whole family, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
I think it's everybody's into the game, in the family, and then they can, go out to dinner afterwards and talk about what they've done on the course, so or on the range. So that's definitely a vibe that we've given off, and people have taken to it. It's for everybody.
Right. Well said. Fantastic. Really, Cara, the crux of it is as instructors, it's about building relationships with people and bringing the best out of somebody. And it doesn't matter whether they're a 25 handicap or a scratch golfer. You want to make that experience for them a memorable one, so that they want to keep coming back, and they want to keep, more importantly, they want to keep being part of this great game, because it is a fantastic game. It has its challenges, of course, and that's what we're there for, is to help them navigate through some of the challenges and some of the difficulties they may be facing. But ultimately, we want to make it a fun and a rewarding experience, so that they want to stay in the game, because it is a lifelong game. It's one of the only sports or games that I know of that you can play at, get into the game at 3 years old and be still, navigating around the course at 93. So it's a game of all, for all ages, and very few, if any, other sports that I can think of can speak to that accolade. Cara, I want to thank you for joining us this morning on the Women of Golf. It's been a pleasure to have you back, and we're excited that you're doing well and enjoying the experience of not just teaching, but meeting people and helping them with their game. For those that maybe want to reach out and get a hold of you and maybe enjoy some of that experience as well, what's the best way that they can find out more about the Everybody Golf School and Cara Moore?
Well, basically, you could just go to everybodygolfschool.com, and the website, you can book lessons. You can learn more about the the classes that we have so many different classes for all types of players. And then you can also follow us on Twitter at Golf Fairfax. So that's really the best place to find more about the Everybody Golf School is everybodygolfschool.com and Golf Fairfax because on Twitter. So that's where all the information is, and you can sign up, you can get information, you can see bios of the instructors to see who you might fit best with. So that's what I would suggest is just going to our website and doing some exploring.
Perfect. Well, Cara, thank you again for joining Cindy and I this morning on the Women of Golf Show. It's been a pleasure. We enjoyed having you, and we hope you come back and visit us again sometime.
I very much appreciate it. I really enjoyed just sitting down and talking about golf. So I will definitely come back when you'll have me, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, Cara.
Thanks. You guys stay warm.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
All right, that was our very special guest, LPGA teaching and club professional, Cara Moore from the Everybody Golf School in Oakton, Virginia. Just go to everybodygolfschool.com, and you can learn more information there about Cara and some of the other instructors there and about some of the programs. Well, again, our apologies. We're not sure what happened to our first guest, Stephanie Meadow from the Symetra Tour. But again, we want to wish her congratulations on her first win, the IOA Championship this past weekend, and we'll see if maybe we can get her on another show. But Cindy, I know you got a split and I got a split, so we're going to wrap up a little bit earlier. But we want to thank everybody. And Cindy, just before we go, why don't you just give your pitch one more time about the Solheim Cup for those that might be interested, how they can go about getting a hold of you.
Yeah, if I'm looking to do a trip to the Solheim Cup in Scotland in 2019, I need 10 interested bodies. I would accompany you. I would play with you. I would teach you. We would go to the Solheim Cup together. If you're interested and want more information, let me know. My email is cindy@cindymillergolf.com. cindy@cindymillergolf.com. CINDY.
Perfect. And on that note, we want to thank all of the listeners worldwide for faithfully tuning in each and every week. And remember, you can go to blogtalkradio.com/Women of Golf, and you can get us live every Tuesday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or you can visit that link later if you're not able to join us, or maybe if you joined us a little bit late this morning and just scroll down to the on-demand section. You can listen to the previously aired shows, including today's, in their entirety there under the on-demand section. Or you can go to iTunes.com, Stitcher.com, and now TuneIn.com, and just type in Women of Golf as well, and you can listen to any of those media platforms as well. So be sure to join us every Tuesday here on the Women of Golf. Cindy, I know you're going to be off for the next couple of weeks, so I'll be holding down the fort until you come back. We've got a great show next week, so make sure you tune in to us right here on the Women of Golf. Thanks on behalf of Cindy Miller and I'm Ted Odorico. We'll see you next time here on the Women of Golf. God bless everybody. Thanks, Cindy.
Welcome. Bye-bye.